Probably I don't need to say anything because it covers almost everything. But I want to highlight just few issues. First of all, appreciating Major Dr. Mudambuzi here, and also our friend from the Swedish Embassy and a very close partner of the UN system, Angelica. And I want to really acknowledge all the editors, senior journalists, producers from all sort of media, news, print, radio, television, and etc. I want to really start by appreciating our great partnership over the years. And I will tell you why this partnership between the UN and the media house is so important for the people and for the public and for the citizen. And for us to, as a UN, to maximize support to Zimbabwe and Zimbabwean people. And I want to really appreciate few days of time you are spending here, exchanging and understanding what UN is doing, and also digging out issues which need to be reported more and advocated, and also to see where we can help journalists, editors, reporter further or strengthen partnership better in one way or the other. And I am really also glad to see a mixed gender in this room because this is very important. If we are promoting gender equality and etc., it's important that we start from the reporting element itself as well. And so this is really good. Indeed, as the first point which was highlighted there at the presentation, the importance of cooperation between the government and UN partnership. Zimbabwe, like in any other country, the UN system works with government. That's the structure we operate on. But of course, we work with society, we work with civil societies, media, NGOs, and everybody. And our whole goal is to maximize UN support to the people in that country. And that's what we try to do in Zimbabwe. And our goal, ultimate goal, is ourselves to be redundant in that broad sense, to bring a sustainable solution to issues, to find a way to help address the critical issues across many areas. And in that context, of course, UN, we are always looking from the UN Charter point of view and promoting UN values, the broader sense. And in two lines, if I can say this, it is we the people of the United Nations reaffirming faith in the fundamental rights, in the dignity and the worth of human person, in the equal right of man and woman, and of the nation, large and small. That's the key theme of the United Nations Charter. So to bring equity, justice, social support, humanitarian challenges, disaster, etc. And I also want to say, the symbolizing, Angelica is present here. UN gets support from development partner. And that's the foundation for the UN working, the membership. Zimbabwe is a member similar to Sweden, but there are countries which are especially providing targeted support, and that support plays a fundamental role for the UN to achieve and do things and promote these. And particularly Sweden has been a very strong partner for my office for the last several years to have our capacity to achieve more and to unify the whole UN system together. You heard about the UN reform agenda which the Secretary General has introduced. Since 1st of January, I report directly to the Secretary General, and we have that mechanism of more coordinated, maximizing delivery of results, and making UN more and more accountable, and work on the challenges of the Sustainable Development Goal to maximize how do we achieve that. So we are also as a UN system reforming to maximize impact, contribute in a maximum way. This is part of a General Assembly resolutions, and so engaging with the media across this is really fundamental, and partnership with all of you is really crucial. Few things I want to say going forward, apart from this general introduction, and appreciating your contribution, your role, your devotion time here, and engaging with us. Challenge us, please, if we are lacking in any areas, if we can do better, we can improve things. We are not perfect. We are all human beings in the context. So feedback is always welcome. And we are open to dialogues, conversation, and we always strive to improve on our results, delivery, and performance. And we are not taking sides. We are there to do the maximum, and promoting the broader values. And so I want to really thank for all these. Since the last year we met in Nyanga, we had many conversations. Your contribution has been immensely important. Now, what's also crucial is what we say here reaches out all over the world. So therefore, the importance of media in the new context of the digital technology is immensely valuable and important. So opening for business, opening for engagement, dialogue, promoting core values, human dignity. You all play important role in all these contexts. Deeper analysis, factual check, of course, these are also fundamental. Ethical code of conducts, and professionalism. And these are all extremely important elements for all of us in different professions we are into. Of course, knowledge, understanding, capacitating is also crucial. So we are committed as a UN to continue to do and work on and support and engage. I had said to Chirac that we would look for some opportunity to maybe in the coming General Assembly debate and discussion, some journalists to participate. Of course, a couple of them at a time in that way. So you see how that discussion takes place in New York. We had sponsored some youth in previous occasion, but this time we are hoping that we will look into those so you have an opportunity to observe and work on. And in the context of Zimbabwe, our work is of course evolving, keep on changing based on priorities. Sadly, we had a huge cyclone, so we had to respond to that. But the core part of our role in terms of sustainable development support stays. And in the last 4 years of our program, those 6 priority areas which we have identified as a partnership between government and UN remained. In striving to deliver good results in all those areas, you gathered that. To sum it up, the 6 areas: food and nutrition security, social services, the promotion of human rights and capacitation, gender issue, HIV/AIDS, and poverty reduction. We continue to work on those areas. And our delivery has been, thanks to excellent support and trust and confidence from development partner has been over 400 million each year in the last 4 or 5 years. But of course, the element of climate change has challenged us in many instances. In the last 5 years almost I've been here, 3 years we have had a problem of drought and cyclone, unfortunately. So that's an area we really need to now look into. How do we adapt to the climate change rather than maybe challenging the climate change, and working on resilience program, and developing a mechanism and working with the community so communities can adapt to those. Unfortunately, situation like cyclone area is hard to adapt because it's all of a sudden and it's enormous. You have seen it, 3 countries in the region suffered so much. But what I also want to say is heartwarming response from Zimbabwean itself in Zimbabwe, and that's what this humanity is about, and that's what international communities response is also about. It's about humanity, and there was one story which was really heart touching for me. I've been 4 times in Chimanimani and Mutare areas, looking into the progress and how we are meeting the need. And one woman had lost her house, her husband, and her child. And there was only one girl left, and she was in a tent. But she was not standing to just receive assistance. She had started a day-old chicks business. She says she wants to stand on her own. I think this is what we need to encourage and support people. And I am really admiring the resilience and the self-standing ability of the Zimbabwean people. If there is a right environment, right opportunities, everyone will stand on its own, and that's where we want to come in to help the population. So while we work on the area of the cyclone recovery, supporting people, and also meeting the relief need, we have now new challenges emerging. Unfortunately, the huge concern of climate change, the drought. Over 5 million, close to 6 million people likely to be affected by drought. We are looking at how we join in with government, civil society, community to support, meet urgent need of these people and identify what are the priorities and how we prevent deterioration in human situation, be it on food, water sanitation, nutrition, education, etc. Because when you have a challenging food insecurity which has an implication on every other areas, unfortunately. There was a GIMBAC report which has just come out, and I was listening to the participation or presentation of that by the head of the Nutrition Council, Dr. George Campbell yesterday, and it's sad to see its impact on less children going to school, more children being malnourished, and less consumption, people being already been hard hit. So we are coming in forward, developing a humanitarian response plan and engaging with government so that no one has everyone has sufficient food to eat and etc. But of course, while we are working on these, the agenda of Sustainable Development Goal is really crucial. We do these interventions going forward, but then keep the mind of the Sustainable Development Goal, which started about 3.5 years ago. 17 goals, 169 targets, 194 countries adopted it. Zimbabwe was quite ahead on the first year in terms of its response, but some of the other challenges has not helped it to move on everything. And also the whole issue of economic reform agenda, which are crucial for Zimbabwe to stand on its own, but its negative impact on people because of price rise and other things. Our response on humanitarian side will also look into that. In fact, we are also seeing a spike in food insecurity in urban areas, for example. So looking at it to see how we respond. In fact, the UN has already started a pilot program to supporting certain number of population and working with the community, working with the government, and see maximizing that going forward. Now, a lot of the elements were raised in the context of yesterday's discussion, making media effective, making media story interesting, and etc. etc. I would say there is a lot of story and human story to say in the context of the work which we do with the UN, and you can have plenty to talk about and make it really interesting. So there is no shortage of story to say, in my view, and it can help sell your stories. People are interested in human stories, and therefore we can be a good partner in telling these stories together. We have a story to share, and you have a medium to bring that out to the public. So our partnership would be a good win-win for the community, for the society, for the Zimbabwe, and the whole world, because the whole world is interested in Zimbabwe, and the good stories, the interesting story, the successful stories, we need to communicate that. One could look at glass half empty or half full. I like to say half full, not half empty. Honestly, there are a lot of effort being made to do things right, and we need to bring that story out more, rather than on what has not been done. So then it tells the story, full story of the process going forward. And I really want to encourage on that, and by in a way, stressing on the efforts being made, and that protects the positive trajectory of the situation. I know there are lots of difficulties in some of the socioeconomic adjustment. I really pray and I hope this is a short-lived going forward, and we have a positive, successful ending and good outcome of these. And last point I want to say is there are many things to watch going forward, and I want to appeal you also to take that point, which seems to have come yesterday. The media house taking 1 or 2 SDGs, or I said this last time we were in Nyanga. Even journalists, please adopt yourself 1 or 2 SDGs in your interest, and bring those stories out, and you specialize in that area going forward, and you will enjoy it going a bit deeper in analyzing and understanding those issues. Now, the element to watch is, of course, the whole issue of climate change. There's a lot happening there and a lot to learn. I like always the story of that Swedish 15-year-old girl who is shaking the whole world on climate change issues. Frankly, what an admirable steps. I was watching her addressing the European Union Parliament, the British Parliament, and I think she has really open eyes for many, and so I would say, and also another, this morning I was listening to this American women's soccer football World Cup, and so hard work, passion, nothing is impossible, and you can see that happening, and I think we can make a difference working together, and what is really probably key is also like joining forces to promote broader national goals, national values, but of course keeping in principle of these democratic values, human dignity, human rights, and projecting the right way. We just launched, I saw a photo there last week, a huge program on gender equality, addressing gender-based violence. Without a right space, right dignity, and right acknowledgement, where there is 52% of the population is women, the country will not progress, correct? So therefore, how do we promote that? How do those segment of the population get right space? The concern of child marriage, and violence, etc. So I think telling the right stories and communicating also a positive way forward. I'm sure it will take time, but I'm sure we can change those behavior and bring justice to the perpetrators, and help the victim to receive the right judgment and support, and etc. Finally, we are in it together, because we have a common goal and common framework. It's not about you and I or he or she, etc. And let us see how we communicate this story in a right way, and project the story in a way. The programs are bringing impact. The program is giving value. The program is making changes in people's life. Because at the end of the day, what we are trying to do is improve people's life and help promote justice, dignity, and protect and leave no one behind. Principally, that's what we are talking about. So therefore, for me, media is absolutely crucial, and your role, individuals, is really extremely crucial. And so I want to really thank you and appreciate again and share our gratitude from the UN system for our partnership. I want to extend a hand to work together continuously, and let us work together to help improve life for Zimbabwean and communicate and tell the right stories, and bring more partners, development partners to support Zimbabwe, the business to bring to Zimbabwe, and also address through the right messaging and deep analysis some of the concerns you brought yesterday about corruption, violence, and etc. etc. So thank you very much. I want to appreciate the organizers